So, as the oil companies are already making plans, and the shipping companies, because as the North Pole ice cap melts and thins and recedes, they're already making plans for new shipping lanes that'll go across the North Pole. They're already staking claims on the ocean floor of where to drill, because it will become, as the polar ice cap thins, and the oil companies know this is happening, they're already making plans that those places where vast oil reserves are available are going to become more accessible, whether it's safe or not, but they'll try to convince us it's doable. And it's so ironic that as we release more carbon trapped in the earth, okay, so the idea is carbon being released, carbon footprint, that's all the thing, carbon dioxide, that all this carbon was trapped, coal and oil, fossil fuels are trapped way below, are trapped in the earth. And what we're doing is mining it and re-releasing it in the atmosphere. And there were times like in the past when we had dinosaurs and all those plants, the entire planet Earth, and it's true, the Earth goes through natural cycles, where it's hot and then there's an ice age, et cetera, without mankind's interference. But who's to say that we are not exacerbating the change, okay? And there were times in Earth's past where the Earth was much, much warmer, and there was a lot more CO2 in the atmosphere. And there was also, at one point, at different parts of the Earth's growth or evolution or whatever you want to call it, that there was a lot more oxygen in the atmosphere. And depending on what's in the atmosphere, those can make real changes. And there's one theory that there was so much oxygen in the atmosphere which explains how dragonflies and other insects and other animals could grow so big. I mean, it's always amazed me. It would blow my mind to see, a dragonfly with 1.5 feet wingspan, or larger. Can you imagine one of those flying around? Trippy. Anyway. Hey, speaking of which, have any of you seen that show Lex? I started watching on Hulu, and at first I thought, God, this is the stupidest, campiest thing I've ever seen. And the spaceship is an insect, a giant insect that this group grew, and it resembles a dragonfly without the wings. But when you turn it around, it looks really phallic too, because it 2 big eyes. So I don't know. I went off on that subject, but I've become a big fan of that show. Too bad I've watched all the episodes, and I got to the end. I was like, oh, no more. I know there's probably a lot of people that hate that show, or a lot of people that never heard of it. But this Canadian, German, and I think the English were involved a little bit, or Britain. This production just made it so different. It's very risque, a lot more risque because it's, sort of Canadian, European people involved. You know how uptight Americans are. They can't, boobs and sexuality, it has to be veiled a little bit more. So what was I talking about? Went into Lex. Oh, the giant dragonflies in the past. So I just think it's crazy. We're releasing more carbon in the atmosphere, which is causing the polar ice caps to melt, therefore makes the oil more accessible, and then we're going to release more CO2 in the atmosphere by burning fossil fuels. No, it's just crazy. And some people say there's no hope for mankind. Sometimes I tend to agree with you, We're just such a stupid race. So, and we need to, we really do need to end our dependence on oil. I mean, it would, and it's not going to happen overnight. It's real gradual. I mean, I saw this thing where, what was it? There's I don't remember the name of the computer company, but a computer company is going to build a new facility where they have all the, oh God. See, I'm not such a computer nerd that I can remember all these terms, but it's the bank where they have all those rows and rows and rows of computers or whatever. That's the central hub where we use our internets. And these places use a lot of electricity. and to generate a lot of heat. And so they use electricity just to do the job. Then they have to use more electricity to run air conditioning to cool everything down. And there's this plan. Do I want to say it was Dell? I could be wrong. It's because I associate cows and stuff. But they want to put it where there's farmland or where they're raising cattle, so that they can use the methane and the manure, in the process of some bio breakdown sort of thing. It's not like they're burning the manure, and to generate electricity to power the computer banks. And please, somebody write the right term for that. But it's like the hub where the internet sends stuff out. I don't know. I should have researched that first. But it's the idea. Do I want to call it synergy? The idea of like here's one thing, and here's another thing, and let's use these things to work together. I mean, those are just one idea that we can get off oil. The problem is what so many people don't see, and this is the real difficult thing. We're used to getting cheap oil, and you get all these things out of it. You get plastics, you can run your cars, there's just so many different uses for oil, and it's cheap. And what people are having a hard time understanding is they want to find one source that will replace oil. And I mean, the other thing is you're putting all your eggs in one basket. If that one thing fails, you're out of luck. So, like business people say, diversify your portfolio. Like I have a portfolio, no. But, and depending on that one thing, fossil fuels is going to get us it is getting us in trouble. So, and besides that, it's the wars we have to fight and the stuff in the Middle East, which is my segue to the Palestinian flotilla. Part of me doesn't want to wade into the subject because it's so controversial. I've got friends that, well, let's say my sister was the first one to turn me on years ago about the plight of the Palestinians. I didn't really, know. And I wasn't that political, 15 years ago. I mean, I was sort of like pro-environment and all that, Greenpeace kind of stuff. But I didn't really follow politics and world events, not the same way I do now. And